Hello and welcome to Business Insider with Mario Toneguzzi on yycbusiness.ca. Joining me today is Annie Dormuth, who is Director of Provincial Affairs in Alberta for the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. Thanks for joining us today, Annie.
Thanks so much for having us on the show again.
Well, let's talk about some government support that was announced just this week, the Alberta government and federal government for businesses across Canada and Alberta. What were the CFIB's thoughts on that particular initiative?
Well, definitely with the provincial announcement yesterday with regards to its new enhanced COVID-19 business benefit, the devil is really in the details of this program. First of all, businesses will not be able to apply for this new program until April 1st, which is really too far away for small businesses who desperately need this relief now. Furthermore, they've increased the revenue loss threshold to 60%, which of course, when you're talking about a 60% revenue reduction, you need that relief right now, not waiting until April. Furthermore, they have this new interesting other requirement asking business owners to prove that they haven't received more than 80% of their revenue from any of the federal or provincial relief programs. So again, unfortunately for this program, it comes too late with applications open in April, and also just too many, hoops and basically we worry that small businesses are not going to be able to access this program.
So in a general sense, Annie, when you look at all the different government support programs that are out there, what's your overall thoughts on whether they've been helpful or not for small businesses in Alberta?
Well, we actually have survey data that shows that 70% of Alberta small businesses, which is actually kind of consistent with the national average as well, 70% of Alberta small businesses say accessing and continuing to rely on federal and provincial supports is actually critical to their survival as a business operation. So that is a really startling statistic right there, saying that, these businesses are basically surviving on the reliance of the federal and provincial support programs. And again, it's also quite concerning that in yesterday's announcement, buried deep again within the details, the provincial government announced that it will close its current SME relaunch grant, turning off the taps on that when, there's still a lot of uncertainty for small businesses. Even with the reopening plan that has been announced, it's not guaranteed that it will follow the trajectory that it plans to. And who knows? I mean, we hope not, but it is possible, and the government has said it is possible that they could be rolling back into other stages and perhaps, impose different business restrictions. So again, really quite concerning, the details of yesterday's announcement from the province.
Well, one of the things that I guess confuses me, and I think I've seen this or heard this a number of times, is that a lot of these programs don't bring in, say, new businesses. So businesses that have maybe started up 6-7 months ago, right after the pandemic. Is that the case?
Yeah, exactly. Especially with the federal support programs. I mean, a commitment many, many months ago was made by the federal government that they would provide greater access to new businesses for the suite of federal support programs, and still no answer on that. New businesses are still unable to access the suite of federal support programs. The province did do a good thing back in early January. February 4th it was, of allowing new businesses and sole proprietors to access its SME relaunch grant. So, that was one good avenue for new businesses to access some sort of relief. But again, they've largely been locked out of the federal support programs.
Okay, then. Do you have the latest numbers in terms of, for Alberta, that is, in terms of things like the number of businesses that are fully open now, the number of they're fully staffed and normal sales? Do you have those latest data?
Yeah, well, right now we are in, again, a very, we have not seen these recovery rates really increase throughout the entire duration of the pandemic. We're still sitting at around, 22 small businesses, only 22% of Alberta small businesses making normal sales for this time of year. Around 40% are back to normal staffing levels, and around 65% are fully open. And again, that 22% of making normal sales, that is really quite concerning. That is only 1 in 5 small businesses really, seeing a return to normal sales right now, leaving the rest still under what would be normal for this time of year. So again, really quite concerning, and we're not really seeing the economic, increase in any of those statistics throughout the entire duration of the pandemic. And even now that we're coming up to a year since the first business lockdowns were imposed in the province.
Do you have any data on the number of the number of businesses that have already shut down in the province?
Well, we have survey results that show, again, 22% of Alberta small businesses are actively considering closing or claiming bankruptcy right now. So that is real-time information from small businesses of where their thoughts are with regards to the survival of their business. That equates to around 32,000 small businesses across the province that are at risk of closing right now. And unfortunately, with any type of business of closure, that means that, unfortunately, their employees are also out of a job, and something that really needs to be taken into stronger consideration. Our own business closure report estimates that if those 32,000 businesses were to close across the province, it would equate to around 600,000 private sector job losses across the province.
Yeah, pretty stunning. Pretty stunning when you think about it. We're almost a year into it, and no end in sight, right? Apparently, for these businesses.
Again, yeah, so much uncertainty still remains for small businesses. And we are not out of this. We may not be out of it until, into this late summer or early fall. And that is why it's essential that provincial and federal governments do not turn off the taps to funding for small businesses. They have been greatly impacted over the course of the last year. And again, greater uncertainty remains, and they're going to need further support well into 2021.
Yeah, okay, great. Thanks very much, Annie, for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Okay, that was Annie Dormuth, who is Director of Provincial Affairs in Alberta for the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. This has been Business Insider with Mario Toneguzzi on yycbusiness.ca. Thanks for joining us today.